Here we are. It's the intro. In the buff.
Welcome, everybody.
What a powerful intro. Okay, you stole that from me too?
Buff.
That's mine. I do that thing.
We got
It's a song.
In the
Chris.
buff.
Shut up. No, shut up. I'm doing a new original song called In the Buff. Oh, yeah. It's in the buff.
Say what?
Yeah, it's in the buff. It's the words of the song is in the buff, in the buff. That was my song.
What up, everybody? It's ITB.
I don't find this very compelling.
It's not very compelling. But, you know what is compelling? It's John's corner, but I don't care about that. Because it's my corner today. All right?
Oh, what?
Oh, really?
And
You
my
just-
corner today is we're going to talk about the comments that are at the top of the show.
You
Alright.
Right
stole his corner?
Alright, guys, let's crack open a cold one for John's corner here.
We're going to talk about the comments. What kind of comments have we got going in?
We've got a comment from Colon Sausages, longtime viewer of the podcast,
First time commenter.
saying, I think it'd be a good idea for each of you to have your own corner to talk about something that interests you once a month. He
I beat you to the punch.
He seems to be
Colon.
showing his support for this little plan that we devised a couple of episodes ago, where we could come in with things to talk about rather than just meander around for an hour and a half before deciding to stop talking.
I mean, I will argue. I enjoy this therapeutic time of us just talking about bullshit.
Yes.
Sorry, take two. I enjoy this therapeutic time of listening to you two talk about random bullshit
I really do. as
where
well.
we sometimes partake.
Cody and I were talking about random bullshit like a couple days ago. It was very fun. And then I went to watch Jeopardy.
Here's another comment from Dark Lord Sauron
Big fan of his.
4 days ago. On the Final Fantasy X Riku Celestial Weapon Guide God Hand video, what if she had a God Hand that looks like Nero's DMC5 Devil Arm, but with angelic celestial divine power inside arm?
What if she did? John, you're the expert.
This is just...
Well, that's absolutely incredible. Dark Lord Sauron, let me just tell you, it doesn't look like that.
But what if?
You might be able to get a mod for it. I don't know.
They have mods.
Is there a strong modding community for Final Fantasy X?
I'm pretty sure.
I'd say almost non-existent.
I'm pretty sure. PC is the only version of the game I don't own.
Not a real thing.
Do they have a PC port?
You know, there's
I have
gotta
no
be.
idea if they do or not.
I don't think
I
that's
think
true.
the fans delivered.
What is that supposed to mean?
They made a PC port.
Well, actually, no. It's absolutely got to be on there. Because every other Final Fantasy game is on PC. It's on Steam.
Oh,
Prove it to me.
I'm
now.
going to Steam right now. I just happen to have it up.
Prove it to me.
All right.
Is this your
You're
corner?
about to get proven to, my guy.
I will have you know,
You're about to get proven
Final
to.
Fantasy VII is on my Switch.
Fantasy 10.
This is 10. We're talking about
I
10.
know we're talking about 10.
Final Fantasy 10, 10.2 HD remastered version is on Steam for the low price of $29.99.
What a steal.
wow. Quite a steal, actually.
2 shitty games for
What would
$30?
well,
Hey, whoa. One shitty game and one game that's also not great but holds a dear spot in my heart.
And then our final comment on the Final Fantasy X Arin Celestial Weapon Guide Masamune video from Ramon Alfredo Novas.
nice.
La primera vez que terminé Final Fantasy X fue muy fácil, eran increíbles los gráficos para esa época. Me recuerdo que salió por las noticias atentando del 11 de septiembre y yo lo vi en arte por TV y habían unos mormonos que usaban guías para que seguir los objetos valiosos de juego y nosotros la terminamos en inglés la Final Fantasy X y la versión extendida y rompimos los límites del 9999 con unos ítems raros que aparecen en el bosque. Tree emoji del cristal.
Nice.
Are you a native speaker?
Okay. All right.
Spanish is
Hold on.
actually my first language.
Was that
Ah.
And English is my second.
was that a different comment from the one you read to us like the other day?
Nope,
No,
same
that's
one.
that was
Wait,
that
did
one.
I just miss the 9999?
That's the only thing that we talked about regarding that comment, John. Are you okay?
I did not hear him say it this time.
Well, I translated the 9999 to Spanish.
Yeah.
If you'd like to hear it in English,
No.
Press
Uh,
1 now.
the first time I finished Final Fantasy X, it was very easy, and the graphics were incredible for that time. I remember that the attack on September 11th came out on the news, and I saw it on TV. And there were some Mormons who used guides to get the valuable objects of the game, and we finished it in English, the Final Fantasy X and the extended version, and we broke the limits of 9999 with some rare items that appear in the Forest Crystal.
Man,
So completely irrelevant
I,
to the video at hand.
I did not
But
think
I appreciate
that we were just going to get
him-
a full replay of this.
I appreciate him, Ramon, giving his story about
really do
his
as well.
time and experience with Final Fantasy X.
Especially because it mentions September 11th.
And Mormons.
Well, I don't want to assume too
And
much.
the Crystal
but there is a
Forest.
pretty there was a time in the early 2000s that there was a fairly strong Mormon presence in Mexico.
Oh,
That's not even a
because that's actually where Mitt Romney's from.
That's not even absolutely.
What?
That's not a joke. Mitt Romney was born in Mexico.
What?
They had
Yeah.
a fairly strong Mormon presence in Mexico.
Or maybe his dad was.
They might still do.
Or maybe that was John McCain.
In fact, the Mormons come against the cartels quite often.
Oh, that would be awesome. Just them in their little short sleeve white shirts and black pants on bicycles going up against fully automatic gunfire.
That'd be pretty hardcore. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to stop doing that. I do it every episode.
What?
It's not funny. Where I pretend that the episode's
I only
over.
remember you doing it once.
Maybe that's just my own personal bias then. If I've only done it once. Maybe I feel like I do it all the time. Either way,
Maybe you think about doing it all the time.
I love the comments. They make me feel warm inside.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to say about that.
Isn't that lovely?
So thank you, Ricardo,
Ramon.
And colon sausages.
Ramon, and the other guy. And Colon Sausage. Obviously, Colon Sausage. Colon
Hey,
Sausage knows he's the OG. He
You
gets it.
still want to give them their moment, okay? Even if they're the best, you still want to say like, "Hey, we recognize you."
You the commenting goat.
You know, I know what you were
That's
going
true,
for, but I really feel like you just insulted him.
You fucking goat.
Oh man. Hey,
Oh, fuck.
It's your corner, John. I want you to take it away for us.
Yeah.
all right.
What's your deal,
what's my
friend?
It's game. It's what's your game, friend?
What's your game,
I'm
friend?
an idiot.
Let's see.
Maybe if you'd play the game.
So, I was racking my brain. I got a really good joke that I just thought of. It's pretty bad. You guys are gonna love it. All right. It's inspired by the way Chris said goat. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I get this right. Do you know what you get when you have an angry cow and an angry sheep in the same pen?
What do you get?
Go ahead.
What?
A couple of animals in a bad mood.
Is that
You
does
just
that
thought
go
of
over
this?
well with all your baby nieces and nephews? They get a kick out of that one?
No, actually, they hate me.
Yeah, well, they grow up fast, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty good,
Did you
right?
find that one at the back of a Laffy Taffy wrapper?
No.
Popsicle stick?
Man, I like when you try, Chris.
Thanks.
Jeez.
They weren't on
What a man.
popsicle sticks either.
So that was a John. That was a John
That
original.
was absolutely a Johnny on the spot original.
I don't like that. Scotty on the spot.
Snaps all around.
So
What's your
anyways,
corner?
man, we're getting right to my corner, huh?
11 minutes into the video.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel because you told me. Spoiler alert! You told me what the corner was, and I feel like it's broad enough that we could talk about this for a while.
Well, that's fair. I wanted to talk about music a little bit today, guys.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I was racking my brain, thinking like, man, what is a fucking human conversation that I can have with my friends? All right, and it's like
Computing.
everything that I'm
Oh,
like,
no, it's the
passionate
AI.
about, we talk about basically every single podcast. We talk about D&D. We've talked about football once. We talk about video games pretty often.
Mhm.
Like, and I feel like
Shulk.
Marvel. And so I feel like I was just sitting there, and there was like a full day where I was just like stumped trying to figure this out. But let's talk about music. Let's talk about what kind of music we're all into. What do you guys listen to?
Why don't you kick us off then? Why don't you kick us off?
Why don't I kick us off?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I will say I don't know music genres very well. But for the longest time, my favorite band was Green Day when I was younger.
Okay. I think they're kind of a punk rock.
Pop punk.
Would you even call them pop punk?
I would call them pop punk in that they are popular and punk.
Because they have more in common with Blink 182 than they do with, like, the early 80s punk scene.
Yeah, well, yes. Probably because Green Day and Blink 182 are contemporaries, and, like, the Sex Pistols are from 30 years prior.
Yeah,
so
but
yes, I think they'd have more in common.
they use motifs from pop music in their punk. They are pop punk.
Okay. They're definitely further along the scale, though,
Oh, yeah.
I'd say.
But none, like, you're like using terminology as if you were Andy, who is our music friend,
Sure.
right? We are not music people.
But
I hear sound, I like sound.
This is true.
I mean, just because, like, Chris doesn't have a degree in music theory doesn't mean he can't know things about music.
It does mean that he's less credible.
Fair. That is fair.
Chris, what's your rebuttal?
But
said
I
that's
do
fair.
know what motifs are and themes.
Sure.
And what's your motif?
University of YouTube.
What's a motif?
No,
What's my
your
motif? Bum. Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
I'm lost. Anyways, so after that was Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
Probably around like 2013.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It didn't last long.
Oh.
Do you, now, John, I really like the album Dookie by Green Day. Did you also like that album?
I think I'm going to say something that might hurt people. For the longest time, and I mean the longest time, up until like 2014 or 15, I didn't know like names of songs or albums or anything.
I see.
Like Green Day was the only band, probably Green Day and Eminem were like the only things I could name song names to, but that was it.
Okay.
I have a very...
Sorry, I didn't even realize that like Imagine Dragons was the band that I really liked until I'm like, oh, that's what they're called? Probably like...
Wow, John.
Yep.
John,
Like-
I was actually kind of in a similar boat where I didn't have a very refined musical palette. Like, you could I'd find a band that I'd listen, like I liked, honestly, most of my music appreciation comes from like Guitar Hero and just finding music that way.
Sure.
But it was never anything.
I think I'm in a similar boat.
It was never anything more refined than like finding that band's greatest hits album and just being like, oh, well, I like this band because I like all of their most popular songs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like the past couple of years where I'm like, do I actually like this band, or do I just like a small handful of their catalog? And so I've really started to kind of drill down into a lot of these artists' catalogs and like going album by album to see like which albums I like, which albums I don't. Do I actually like this, like the whole breadth of this artist, or just like songs from one album or one phase in their career?
Dude, Scott can attest to this. When I find a song that just like hits me, I
Makes me sick.
will listen to it for like 17 hours straight.
Oh, this is actually perfect because the Spotify Wrapped just got released for everybody.
Yeah, it did.
Why don't we?
Well, that's the thing.
compare-
I was gonna complain about this in my portion of the music
Okay.
thing. You can only fucking listen to it on mobile.
Oh,
really?
that's a shame.
Like, I genuinely was like, oh, I can't wait to see like the Spotify thing, because I use Spotify all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, it interests me. I like to see the way my tastes have changed and what I've added and what I've listened to more, and I can't listen to it because I don't have a goddamn phone.
Wow. That's terrible.
I had like a mini angry rant about that in my head when I got that email.
So
I will. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I had already gone through this with a different group of friends, so I have pictures ready on my phone of it.
Fantastic.
Do you have yours ready?
I do.
Okay. I ventured into the genreverse apparently this year.
So did I.
I,
Oh.
How many
Okay.
genres did you explore?
64.
Oof.
Okay, you beat me.
Holy
I got
Lord.
49 genres.
I have 31.
My top 5 were mellow gold, video game music, synthwave, Brill building pop, and K-pop.
I probably got like 6.
And really, that synthwave only appeared in like the last 2 months because of this whole Astral Sea thing for
Right.
D&D. And I didn't really think I listened to all that much K-pop either, but apparently.
Huh.
All right.
Well, hold on. Before we delve into like the Spotify thing that you guys wanted to do, if you even want to do that, what a weird thing. Like, this is a Spotify tie-in. You didn't really tell us like what kind of music you enjoy the most, Cody.
Oh, well, I didn't know if it was my turn to share that.
You were talking.
Well, if this brief foray into my Spotify Wrapped has anything to go by, I listen to quite a variety of music.
Yeah, indeed.
I can switch from like Judas Priest's Firepower to like Dolly Parton, or go from like Daft Punk to the Supremes.
Yeah.
So but generally, I like my 70s and 80s rock. I like my late 90s, early 2000s pop punk. Love Blink-182 and Sum 41, and even a little Green Day Panic. I really like Panic. I like old country. So like Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris. What else? And then like, some synthwave, synth pop, K-pop. Probably my favorite artist in the synthwave scene is Dance with the Dead. So just a lot of stuff. Oh, and something that is a bit of a precursor or a bit of a foreshadowing for the rest of my Wrapped playlist. John Denver.
A lot of John Denver.
Ooh.
So I'll tell you right now. This was a surprising statistic. I am in the top 0.01% of Spotify John Denver listeners.
Holy shit, that is awesome.
There is a good chance that I listened to more John Denver this year than everybody in the country.
Then maybe even John Denver.
Well, since John Denver's been dead for almost 30 years, I'd say yes.
Well,
Oh, well.
I don't know or care about John Denver.
So my top 5 genres are rock, indie pop, ska punk, pop, and pop rock.
Okay, quite a consistent
Ska.
angle there, I'd say.
Dude, I love ska. There's like half of my playlist is just ska. What was your playtime?
My playtime was 50K.
Mine was just over 50K. 66% of US listeners. I'm more than.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it says that's more than 66% of other listeners in the United States.
That can't be right, because it says I'm more than 92% of other listeners. 50,142 minutes.
1,000. 15,035.
Oh, get out of here. Do
He
you
said
even like music?
50,000.
Oh, 50. I thought you said
50,000.
15. My
No.
bad. I'm an idiot. Okay, I just can't hear him. Great.
But back to what John was saying, though, about how he can just listen to one song over and over again. My most played song for the year was Boogie Wonderland
what the hell's that song?
by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay. How many plays?
280 plays, most of them all in a single day on August 8th.
280?
Why is this happening?
I don't know, it's a fun song.
Interestingly enough,
I can't do
my
that.
most played song was not a song that I played on repeat. But as soon as I say it, Scott's going to know exactly why, I think. And my most played song was Joker and the Thief by Wolverine.
Really?
Yeah, Rocket League.
Yep.
Rocket League.
The reason why is because this is a little bit of throwback to when we were kids, and I would go over to his house to play Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars. His playlist always started with Joker and the Thief. So when I made my own Rocket League playlist for when we would play now, it always starts with Joker and the Thief.
Gotcha.
My top song was Keysby Nights by Catch-22.
Never
Interesting.
even heard of
It's
it.
a ska song.
Ugh.
And it only has 17 plays. So,
What?
yeah. So, holy crap, dude.
Hold on a second. That's your most played?
Yeah.
With 17.
Yes.
For the year.
Yes.
All right.
Fascinating. I'm just scrolling through this again,
Same.
and nearly 10% of my listen time is just on John Denver.
Oh my
nearly
God.
5,000 minutes. The dark horse candidate that really surprised me for my Spotify Wrapped, Rick Astley.
Really?
Whenever you need somebody, that album is great. I love that album. You gotta.
You are Dennis.
You know, I honestly think I was listening to the Always Sunny podcast and they were talking about how Dennis listens to Rick Astley. And I'm like, you know what? I've been exploring artists' catalogs recently. Let's see if I actually like Rick Astley. So I went and got Whenever You Need Somebody, which is the album that Never Gonna Give You Up is on. And yeah, it's a great album. I like it. Now, bear in mind, you do have to be in a certain mindset to listen to Rick Astley, because every one of his songs are either him singing about a woman that has broken up with him, or he's singing about a woman that hasn't broken up with him yet.
Right.
But they're going to break up with him?
Given how prevalent option 1 is in his repertoire, yes, it's a certainty that they are going to break up
Okay.
with him at a later date.
Well, if we're talking about Spotify, I can't look at my stupid goddamn Wrapped or whatever it's called. But I've had a really contentious relationship with Spotify the past year.
Okay.
So, if you use Spotify a lot, you'll probably realize at some point, they behind the scenes, they will just remove songs that are available in your region.
Oh, yeah. I have
And
noticed
so,
that.
I'll be like, man, it has been so long since I heard this song.
Yeah.
What happened to it? And I'll scroll through my playlist, and it's fucking grayed out, and I'm like, what the hell? If that ever happened to my favorite song of all time, I would throw a baby rage so hard the world would feel it.
It really does. It's stuff like this that, amongst other things, that really has made me start to reconsider physical media.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe throwing away all of my CDs wasn't the best long-term plan. 'Cause sure, more convenient to have it all on my phone, but then it's, stuff like this where like you just can't listen to that song anymore, like the rights get lost or something of that nature.
Well, to push back on that as well, I agree with you. But on the flip side of the argument is, after Monsi was introduced to us, she has introduced an entire new, region of music to me. And there is no way, she introduced me to this band called Agam, which is bang, dead center on the bullseye of what the kinds of music I like is.
Yeah.
And I love them. And there's no way, they're from India, there's no way I could ever get an Agam, me personally, could ever get an Agam CD or anything. And it's because of Spotify that I can enjoy that music.
Well, sure.
But at the same goddamn time, my favorite song by Agam isn't in my region.
Right.
This is why we need to get sponsored by, NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Oh, man. I can't wait.
Or ExpressVPN or any of the other VPNs.
Other VPN services are available.
We are not picky.
So I just found...
We need money.
I just found my top 5 genres through whatever this little thing is on Spotify.
Okay.
The Spotify Wrapped thing. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1 is rock.
All right.
And number 2 is video game music.
Yep. Probably because of your D&D stuff.
Probably because of the D&D stuff. Number 3 is pop punk. 4 is rap. And then number 5 is alternative metal.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have this. I can tell you what I like. I have a pretty narrow, cone of interest in a really specific direction, but there's a lot in that cone. A lot of the times I have one playlist because I listen to music weird, maybe? I don't know. Compared to you guys, I do. Where most of the time it's just noise. And I'm like, this noise is pleasing to my ears. I'll add it to the playlist. And then it stays there. And the purpose of a playlist to me is to be playing while I do something. And so, therefore, I never ever want to hear a song that I don't want to hear. At any given moment. I won't add a song if I think I would skip this at some time. So I don't add songs that I want to skip.
That's a very hyper-curated list.
You'd say that, but I can look at it right now. Hold on. It's got friggin' 72 hours of content on it.
God damn.
63 hours and 23 minutes.
Dude.
To be fair, half of that is probably guitar solos in much smaller radio edits, so...
Maybe? I don't know. But I will say that my interests lie pretty directly in there are some orbiting, obviously, but the two big ones are classic rock and thrash metal are what I enjoy the most. I love the fast metal. I can't get into melodic or any kind of death metal. It's too much.
Melodic?
I need to be able to hear the guy singing. And as far as classic rock goes, I mean, I love it.
What is melodic? Is that like a melody rock, or what is that?
it's like where you can hear the guy singing more, but it's like so like that kind of
I
thing.
see.
Okay.
That's an
So
excerpt
it's-
of what your average melodic metal would be.
It's not as heavy as like Lamb of God?
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Probably.
Like
Chris,
all
what
I
is your
care
rebuttal?
about is that I enjoy thrash metal.
I
in
saw
that-
Lamb of God. I might know a little bit, I think.
I was in their mosh pit.
Like Judas
I was
Priest,
by their mosh pit.
Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica. Those are my dudes
Okay.
You
when
know,
it comes to metal.
Wow.
it's interesting that you brought up how you kind of just think of music as pleasing noise, because for like the first half of my life, I kind of thought of music in that same way. I was actually thinking about this very recently, like just this past week, so it's kind of fortuitous that we're talking about music on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it really was just kind of like, oh, I like how this noise sounds. I like this song, I guess.
See, I did the exact same thing, but I didn't take the step to see who it was.
Mm.
But I distinctly remember being about 13 or 14 and listening to Led Zeppelin for the first time and something just clicking over in my head like, oh, this isn't noise. Like, this is complex. Like, Led Zeppelin was the first time that I actually recognized that there were people playing different instruments. Like,
That
in
is
the
so
song.
weird.
What's that?
I have a very similar story, but not to that degree, I'd say, where I realize they're playing different instruments.
But like I never once cared about the drum line in a song
Right.
until I heard John Bonham play. I'm like, oh, no, I'm paying attention to the composition of the music.
My story about my musical awakening, as far as realizing, and it's weird, I've thought about this a lot, and I'll talk about it after I tell the story. So, I grew up in a country home, which is to say, we listen to country music,
Poor
Mhm.
thing.
and I hated it. I hated
I'm
it
right
all
there
the
with
time. And I was to the point when I was a kid where I'm like, I guess I just don't like music. Like, that's what I thought. Every once in a while, this country station would play Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I'd be like, see this? I like this. Why do I like this? But all the others went, like, why don't they just play the good song all the time? If this is the only good
I
one?
agree.
And then Guitar Hero came around, and I remember being like, I was focused more on the game. There would be songs that I enjoyed in Guitar Hero where I'd be like, yes, all right, I like this song, this music is good. I didn't really even consider different genres, as weird as that might sound. But I'm like, this song is good, and I like playing it. And I think my freaking 11-year-old brain at the time was just telling me, you like playing it because you're good at this song, John. Oh my
wow.
God.
Scott?
I'm Scott. You like playing it because you're good at this song, Scott. And I'd just be like, yeah, I guess that is right, brain. But I think looking back now, I was good at the song because I played it the most because I enjoyed the song. And then there was one day, I was trying to go to bed and we had a clock radio next to my bed. And I was just fiddling around with it and I couldn't sleep, so I turned on the radio and went to 104.7 WTUE, Dayton Radio or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And it's classic rock. And the song playing on it was War Pigs. And it started playing, and like my mom could hear it, and I was like, why do I know this song, first off? And secondly, why is this so right? Something is really right about this. And I remember hearing it, and I knew the words, and I didn't know why I knew the words. And that's the kind of moment that got me thinking, is this just the kind of music that I was born to enjoy? As weird as that sounds.
Mm.
What occurred in my life that made me enjoy that song in particular? Not like I didn't care about the themes of a song. I wasn't listening to the words that Ozzy was singing. I was listening to the and the freaking sick guitar solo at the beginning and the end. That's what I was listening to. And I wonder why that resonates with me specifically. Why is it that I like that noise? And I don't know. I don't know what answer to
Is
give you.
War Pigs in your playlist? Isn't
Absolutely.
it like a 9-minute long song?
It's like 7.
Oh, is it? That's still.
I do have a fair amount of long songs in my playlist.
Yeah, that would have been if that was like the song that was playing that was supposed to give me my musical awakening, it would have been a hard sell for me.
Yeah.
I
I don't know what to tell you.
what's that?
And
Oh.
I knew there was one time when I heard the band playing. Our high school band likes to play Crazy Train.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I heard the
Typical-
band playing Crazy
typical
Train when I was
football
like
song.
10. And I'm like, man, this song rocks. Like, and it was just, and I knew then, comparing it now, it's not just about the noise of the guitar then. Something about the way rock music is played just resonates with me, and I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you. Andy might be able to tell me. I don't know.
I've tried to dip my toes into some music theory a bit, and like a lot of it, like things like chord progression and like timing and stuff like this, it's all kind of over my head. Like I can understand it a little bit, but even when they give me examples, I'm like, I don't know. And it kind of goes into this idea I have that music theory is one of the few things that is easier done than said. And what I mean by that
I think
is
I completely agree.
people understand music intrinsically, but they don't know why they understand it. They can't explain it. They
Right.
can't put it into words.
Mm.
And that's why you need people like Andy, who can get several graduate degrees in music theory to be able to understand why you like a piece of music.
This is tangential to a conversation I've had with Monsi a lot of time, where I've heard so many rants from her about how she hates the like these covers of old, Monsi's from India. She hates these covers of old Bollywood songs by new groups.
Mm-hmm.
And they typically, in the cover, all they do is take away from the new song, the old song. It reminds me of the goddamn remake of Lion King.
Mm.
The Lion King original is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure there's plenty of things to improve, but why would you? What's to improve that would make it more valuable to you if it already exists, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So why did we remake it? And then you hear people saying, oh, the animation looks so real, and some kids, they don't like the hand-drawn animation as much. And I'm like, go
Yeah,
and fuck
well,
yourself then.
Those kids can go die in a hole.
The reason they don't
And
like
it's the
the
same-
hand-drawn animation stuff is because they don't make hand-drawn movies anymore.
And I think it's the same with these Bollywood things, and just old songs in general getting remade. I can understand making a cover and, like, putting your own spin on it. What these Bollywood things, like with Monsi's rants, what they're doing is just taking an old thing and then making it sound new with different people. And it's not like the voices have gotten better. It's not like the writing of the song and the delivery of the words in the song have gotten more advanced with time. All that's gotten more advanced is the recording technology. And I think that angers me on her behalf, because I see the seething rantage in her eyes, and it makes me laugh, to be honest. But it reminds me of this idea that you can't really put it in words. It just upsets me, and I can't really say why, because I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same song, but performed worse. Why'd you do that?
I will say that there are some covers to songs that are the same song, but better.
I totally agree there.
Uh-huh.
Covers in general are not the issue here. I'm talking about specifically, like, the quote unquote remastering of old songs.
Okay.
But oh yeah, for sure. Like Spider Bait's cover of Black Betty all day.
Yep.
Kidding me?
Even then,
I'm sure there's
Ram Jam's version is a cover of an earlier song.
Yeah, Black Betty's one of those songs that like it was just folky, and I think a lot of people.
When I found out that it was like their version was a cover of it, my mind was blown. I thought they were the original creators.
Dude, I had that same thought for House of the Rising Sun.
Yep.
Yeah, John burned his house down when he found out.
Then
Yeah,
what
the
did the
animals-
cult take?
Joke's on them.
My bank accounts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Cody?
Chris, have you heard of a YouTube channel called Polyphonic?
Yes, Cody, I have.
And I also just recently watched their video on House of the Rising Sun.
Dude, I love Polyphonic so much.
And like when I listened to his John Bonham video, it was like finding a friend, because I'm like, oh, this guy gets it too. Like, I wasn't just crazy when I was 14 years old and thought listening to like Led Zeppelin's music was different.
Yeah. See, okay. So I never had like this musical awakening like Cody did, and I didn't really go the opposite of my family like you did, Scott.
Well, it's not necessarily opposite, right?
Fair. But like I feel as though I'm a weird mashup of all the music that surrounded me as a child.
Well, you are certainly the most musically inclined of the four of us.
I did not play the tuba well.
Oh.
But no, like, so, my grandmother's family is from, West Virginia, Kentucky mountain towns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coal mining villages. I grew up listening to my two uncles play in their bluegrass gospel bands. And grandma always had gospel stations on the radio. My grandfather in his trucks had old rock, Elvis, and like old country on. Mom was a child of the 80s. She had me at 19. So I grew up with all the 80s and 90s stuff from her. My one uncle was really into rap, and so that's how I got into like Eminem and things. And so I just like absorbed. I was a Hoover, and I just vacuumed up everything that was there and compiled it. So
Is that the whole story?
and then I discovered swing. Swing was
Okay.
my thing. Is how I look at it.
Uh-huh.
I was just
I have never once associated you with swing.
I don't talk
Is this
about
kind
it
of
much
is this
anymore.
kind of your guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
Chris?
Was this you before you were born, before we met you?
No, this is me in high school. So before I became friends with
Ooh.
any of you,
Okay.
We were friends for a long time.
not before junior year.
I disagree.
We didn't-
I was hanging out
we
with
weren't
you
hanging out.
when I was a sophomore.
Were we? I don't remember that.
I was gonna say, I have a guilty pleasure, but is it a guilty pleasure if you don't feel guilty about it? No.
Is it
No,
Ella
no shame.
Fitzgerald? I love Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella, she's good. I really like her.
Okay.
It is a female singer.
Pat Benatar.
Yep, there you go. Pat Benatar.
That's not really your guilty pleasure. That's your
Wait,
fetish.
Pat's a girl? No, I'm just kidding.
She's my darling. She's my sweetheart. First 7
Mhm.
albums are just bangers. I can listen to all 7 albums all the way through any day of the week.
Oh.
Seen her and her husband in concert multiple times. Just in love with her and her music.
I think my Pat Benatar would be, I guess, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
The thing that I really hone in on with music, is I enjoy listening to, like, it's so easy with guitar in general to listen to the different styles that people have.
Mm-hmm.
I am fairly confident that if you just isolatedly showed me or made me listen to just a snippet of Slash playing guitar, I'd have a pretty good chance of telling you that was Slash playing the guitar.
Sure.
And because he just has a really distinctive style. Same with Van Halen, obviously. And I think Jimmy Page is up there too. I wouldn't say Jimmy Page is some incredible guitarist a la Van Halen, but he certainly has his style. And I think he is my Pat Benatar. Where I could just listen to any random Led Zeppelin song because of Jimmy Page.
Another guitarist that I'd throw into that mix would be Brian May.
For sure. Absolutely.
And the reason I bring that up is because on Panic at the Disco's latest album, Viva Las Vengeance, a lot of it is like an homage to the kind of music Brendan Urie was growing up listening to. So he's listening to like a lot of Queen and a lot of that, like, you know, late 70s, 80s rock.
Mm.
And in one of the songs, God Killed Rock and Roll, like, he is playing guitar like the exact way Brian May would be playing guitar. Like, he's imitating May's style so closely and so sincerely. Like, I'm like, I would have had a hard time telling them apart.
Another one's Satchman. Joey Satriani, or Joe Satriani. He just, it's so distinctive the way he just hits strings on a guitar. and I think about that a lot, where it reminds me of the song, Johnny Be Good. He could play guitar like he was ringing a bell.
Mm.
It makes me think of that with all of these good guitarists, where I wish I could do that with something. I'm not good at anything, really, when I think about how amazing these people can be at something so, at least on paper, something that anyone could learn to do.
I think we always cycle through this, because this is usually where I would say, hey, you were really good at a piano, and you would tell me that no, you just kind of eventually find the right key.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like if you got the opportunity to keep playing the piano and it was something that you wanted to do, I feel like you could have been like really good at it.
I think anyone can be really good at something, but that's the thing. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I can learn to play piano. Anybody can learn to play piano, but like, I don't think you can learn to
be Jimmy Page.
Be that. I'm not saying there's some greater than God, skill or anything, but something about the way they perform is not attainable by someone like me.
I mean, who knows? Maybe something would eventually click for you.
Well,
I feel
like you can be optimistic all you want. I'm not really talking myself down here.
I'm not trying to actually like talk you up, but like, I guarantee, like, for all these people that are like the greats, like, it wasn't just, they immediately knew how to do it. I guarantee that, like, they were going through their struggles and then they found a rhythm that clicked for them, and that was like the beginning of it.
Well, that's the thing, right? If it were as simple, me just saying this now is going to sound sacrilegious, but there is so much time in the world. If it were just as simple as me spending time as much as I could playing the guitar or doing anything to be that good, like, how much have we played Rocket League? If it were just as simple as, and I love Rocket League, if it were as simple as just me exposing myself to Rocket League, and then I would just attain that level of greatness in a skill, then everybody would do it. And I think there is something else. There is just some innate... It's not like, I'm not talking about destiny or anything here. I'm just saying there is some innate,
Some people have natural talent.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Just an arrangement of chromosomes, maybe? I don't know. Something it is that just... The stars align with certain people, and Like, I can't believe we haven't mentioned Jimi Hendrix. I don't know what it is that man was created. He really is a Johnny B. Good story. Like, he went up, there was a 3-stringed guitar in his attic, and he was just playing with it, and then, like, the next day, he was shredding.
God.
There is something to be said here about, and I'm kind of gonna get a little philosophical. Wow,
Philosophical?
Excuse
Okay?
I'm going to
It's the
be
mono.
a little philosophical here, but I have heard this theory proposed where every major artistic revolution is preceded by a major technological revolution, and so sure,
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix is a virtuoso, but there is no Jimi Hendrix without the electric guitar.
Right.
You know, there is no Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band without multi-track mixing. And so it really is kind of one of those things where it's like, you not only have to be good, better than good actually, you also just have to be in the right place in time in history.
On a precipice.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes, you know, this does sound a little bit more like destiny, but like sometimes the stars just align.
It actually,
How many?
this is going to sound a bit awful. I think it's similar to Hitler. There's been plenty of evil people,
Yeah.
but Hitler was on a precipice.
Mhm.
He caused a lot of mayhem because he could at that time.
Well, yeah, it's. I don't want to indulge in this line of conversation too much, but like, World War II doesn't happen unless World War I happens. You know.
What I'm saying is there's been plenty of horribly evil people, probably people who are capable of even greater evil than Hitler was, but Hitler was the one we got
Right.
at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Scott does not endorse the actions of Gadolf Hitler, I think his name is.
Yes, yes.
Something like that.
Neither does the podcast.
I'm not going to speak for the podcast.
I will
No.
speak for the podcast.
Podcast was all in.
Nope.
What makes you think you can speak for the podcast? This is a democracy, Chris.
I run all the power
That is
for
true.
the podcast.
The editor has all the power.
Oh, God.
I
I said you shouldn't have done this.
This is the smallest amount of power I've ever seen go to someone's head.
I made
Wow,
Danishes.
We
Well.
really just gnawed this to the bone talking about
we
music.
went
Yeah.
on a musical journey. Scott, you were right. This was a broad enough topic to really
It's
just
broad enough that,
pull
yeah,
it all out.
we ramble about it. It's broader than Monster Quest.
Honestly,
You know-
I feel like I could keep talking about music.
absolutely.
I think we should. I could.
Funny thing, I was listening to the Monster Quest podcast while I was playing Skyrim. And I did the exact
You
same thing.
relearned that thing about the Thieves Guild?
No. But I did exactly what I did in the podcast where I thought we were talking about Monster Hunter until I pointed it out. And, and I'm like, I was like, wait a minute, hold on, let me Google this. And it was still in my search history.
Name of the freaking...
See, at the beginning of the podcast, when you said something about Monster Hunter,
We all
I
thought it was
thought
a
you were
joke.
just being an asshole.
Yep. No, I'm just a fucking idiot, dude.
God,
Oh
yes.
my god.
Oh,
I don't know what's wrong with you.
It's the concussions. I think it's turning into
I
a
guess
pretty
it
serious
is. I
thing.
guess it is.
God.
You should get that
man.
looked at.
You
It's-
should.
I don't know if there's anything to do about it anymore.
I wonder if we were to upload you into a computer, would you still be fucked up?
I'd say yes.
I
It
agree.
just airs out a lot on the loading screen.
Yeah. John keeps blue screen. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Oh, no, never mind. He's back. It's lagging a lot, though.
Guys, we talking about Monster Hunter?
You're just over here with like your mouth just like, is it froze? Is it froze? Okay, it's not frozen. Damn it! Why does it keep doing
man.
it?
Would you want to be in a how do you guys, that's just something.
What?
And honestly, this is something I've heard as well. Like, it seems really froofy do, but people were talking in this one I say talking. I read an article a long time ago about how music could be, in the grand scheme of simulation theory, maybe music is like the code, similar to mathematics, but it's just in a different language.
Mm-hmm.
Where we are in such an advanced simulation that it can use multiple programming languages at once, and music is one of the languages, and that's why magic exists, is that you use music as a spell or whatever. And I remember at the time, I remember thinking, oh, that's interesting. And that was it. And now I'm thinking back to it now, which is the first time I've thought about it in years, and now I'm thinking, man, that's fucking retarded.
You know, if we are in a simulation, it might be a sign that we're using too much CPU and it's not working properly, and that's why we have so many songs nowadays that use samples from old songs.
Maybe. One of my favorite dumb simulation theory things is that the reason that so many, quote-unquote, so many smart people have glasses is that their brain power is using up too much processing, and so their vision hasn't fully rendered.
Oh, that makes sense now, because I have really good vision.
Just 20/20 your whole life.
Oh,
Incredible.
man. But, like, the motor functions, not existent.
My cat.
Uh-oh.
No,
He's
technical
yelling at the
difficulties.
You
You
guys
should have
think
cut this
he's-
out, Chris.
Yeah, you think he's gonna
Should've
cut it
cut it
or
out.
not? Take your bets
No,
right
it's
now.
not
I don't know if he knows how.
I didn't cut it out. It was funny.
You're a whore. Fucking cut it. So, what's everyone's top 5 on their Spotify's?
My top 5.
artists or songs?
Either.
My top 5 songs were Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Mm-hmm.
Middle of a Breakup by Panic at the Disco, Looking for Space, John Denver, and then Don't Say Goodbye and It Would Take a Strong Man by Rick Astley. Rick taking the number 4 and 5 spots.
Nice.
Wow.
I
Nice.
guess I listened to that album a lot more than I thought I did.
I wish I could see this. Damn it.
You should have got an email.
I think
I did, but like when I went to the email, it said you can only look at this on the mobile
That's
app.
so
Yep.
stupid.
I think you can at least look at your top 5 songs, Scott.
No, I tried,
I tried. There's. I
well,
couldn't.
I have
could
no,
not.
no.
look.
I have a. It has a playlist that I'm looking at on the desktop,
Oh,
and it's the
yeah.
same as my top 5 songs. Or the first 5 are the same as my top 5.
Mm.
I don't have that.
It didn't give you a playlist?
Your top songs 2022.
Let's see. Hold on. Hold.
While we're
I have a slow
waiting,
computer.
my top 5 artists were NF. Number 2 is Rage Against the Machine. Number 3 is Foo Fighters. Number 4 is Howard Shore. And number 5 is Guns N' Roses.
Howard Shore, you've been listening to a lot of Lord of the Rings soundtracks?
I can tell you exactly why that happened. Was because after we were introduced to this lovely board game, I bought my own, and then I was playing it with my nieces and nephews. And I was also doing the Lord of the Rings soundtrack.
How much were you playing this board
They
game, John?
They
That it's
love-
number 4.
They love this board game, dude. I think we have destroyed the ring at least 4 times.
Oh, congratulations.
Great job.
It's a tough feat.
Now the sad part about this is their parents are, for whatever reason, very against their kids watching Lord of the Rings,
Why?
Why?
and their reasoning for it. Now,
Satanic
dad-
Panic?
no, their dad is a huge Star Wars nerd. And his argument is that Lord of the Rings is terrible, it's boring, it's really long, and it's not worth it. And I think
The
I
only
caused...
thing I agree with is that it's very long.
I think I caused a divide in his family when I said, yeah, that's right, because you just need shiny lights to keep you distracted.
Oh, got him! Got him!
But,
I would have
He-
loved if it was a satanic panic thing, because, like, Tolkien is, like, the most Catholic person in history. and it's like very clearly like good triumphing over evil.
But this is also
in other news,
This
I
is,
do not have that.
You don't have the playlist?
There is no like
Oh.
Wow.
top songs or whatever the hell you're talking about on my
Oh.
homepage.
I'm sorry to
Oh.
hear that.
Well,
But this is the same parent that argued that the lightsaber flying past what's his name? Darth Vader's
Kylo Ren?
grandkid. Kylo Ren, there we go. Yep.
Mhm.
Ooh, had a brain fart there.
Ben, little
Sorry.
Ben boy.
Bad loading speed. But he
John, I
argued
think your
that
brain farts are when you actually are smart.
Oh. Anyways, he argued that the lightsaber flying past him to Rey was infinitely better of a scene than Cap lifting the hammer. And I just looked at it and I'm like, you're allowed to be wrong, but like you probably shouldn't talk for the rest of the day.
John, for all your concussions, you are way smarter than that man.
A younger me would have entertained this debate, but now I don't like either of these things.
A younger you is in like a year and a half ago.
Well, now I think you're perfectly
maybe 2
unbiased,
years.
as all things should be. Which one do you
good
think is
point.
better?
So I can probably look at it objectively. Which of these two scenes are better?
Which of these two shit properties are more shit?
Yeah.
I would say objectively. Anybody who disagrees is wrong.
Okay.
Cap lifting the hammer is the better scene.
Whew, that was a close one. All right.
It took to the last word.
Yep. Okay.
I do
All right.
agree.
I
So I'm
100%
not
agree.
wrong.
I won't be taking questions. I'll round it out my
Okay,
top
great.
10 for most played songs. Number 6 was Angel Eyes by ABBA. Specifically because there was a sped up pitch shifted version that went around on TikTok. And I don't know.
Okay.
I just really liked it.
Okay.
I like listening to it. Wild Montana Skies by John Denver and Emmylou Harris. A bit of a dark horse here. Neon Artery by Sung. If you guys don't know, that was the song that was playing during that little Astral Sea
Intro.
teaser trailer
Yeah.
I gave you.
Okay.
Sad
How
Clown.
often did you listen to that to fucking edit it?
Dude, why do you think I did edit it? It's because I listened to it so much. You got it backwards. I'm like,
yeah,
I
said
should
it too.
use this song. This is a
Yeah.
killer song.
and I was like I mentioned to Scott, like I made the trailer around the song. Like the song is what inspired me to make that trailer.
Mm.
You did a great job.
Sad Clown by Panic, number 9, and then rounding out another interesting pick, Feel a Whole Lot Better by Tom Petty. I listened to Full Moon Fever a lot this year.
Okay. I only have my top 5 songs. Not my top 10.
I mean, if you go to that playlist John was telling you about, you can find them.
I don't want to.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's embarrassed.
So, from we know Keysby Nights,
Yep.
most played.
Most played 17 times
Yep.
in 365 days.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Number 2.
Let me just say real fast on that comment. I didn't think I'd listen to Joker and the Thief on repeat. Apparently I did on February 6th, where I listened to it 64 times.
Nice.
That's like, let's say a 4-minute song. That's 4 hours listening to it.
Nice.
Oh my god. I'm right there with you, John. I'm the exact same way.
My number
Chris,
Easy
you were
put
saying
away.
something,
My number 2,
and we
is,
kept interrupting you.
Is
So if you could go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Could you
Yeah,
just get it out,
Chris.
Chris, for God's sake?
Chris, please continue.
Nothing's stopping you.
So we used to listen to a podcast.
Get it out.
Me and Scott.
Guys, stop interrupting Chris.
So my number 2 is.
Sorry, what did you say, Cody?
I said stop interrupting Chris.
Oh, gotcha. Chris, continue.
Number 2, Of a Friday Night by Anais Mitchell.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then a couple years back, I got really into Lemon Demon. So his song Touchtone Telephone takes 3rd. And
Lemon Demon sounds like a bad mixed drink.
it does.
Ooh,
it sounds
that's
like
good,
a
John.
shot, but that's a lemon drop.
Oh, it would be. You know what it would be? It would be Fireball whiskey and like lemon citron, like limoncello
Ooh, okay.
or lemon vodka.
Still no.
Damn.
And his song Ancient Aliens takes number 5. Which leaves number 4 spot with All Over You by Live.
Definitely the odd one out there, I think.
Yeah. It kicks ass. I love it. Yeah,
What about you, John? What we got?
what we got?
All right.
What we got?
So my top 10, obviously number 1 is Joker and the Thief.
Mm-hmm.
Then we hit a hard left with Industry Baby by Lil Nas X.
Nice. Nice.
Then we get Alive
Is
and
that the one
Amplified.
that's like burr, burr, bum, 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 bum?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's that one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Then we have Alive and Amplified, the song that I learned about from Madden 2007.
The Mooney Suzuki.
Yep. Salute Your Solution is 4th, with Bullet with Butterfly Wings being 5th, followed by Party Hard, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
That's a good one.
The Dropkick Murphys take number 8 with I'm Shipping Up to Boston.
Oh,
Okay. Another
Number
good
9. Number 9 is Kickstart My Heart.
Okay.
And
of course.
10th place gets is Boom by POD.
Mm.
Wow.
Artists.
My artists are pretty predictable given what I've said so far.
Okay.
Um,
Mine are not.
really?
Mm-hmm.
There's only one dark horse that hasn't been mentioned yet for me. John Denver number 1, Panic at the Disco number 2, Tom Petty number 4, Rick Astley number 5. The only odd one out was number 3 with the Noisettes.
Never
Huh.
heard of them.
They're a British band, a trio. Really good stuff. They've only got like 2 or 3 albums out. Their first album, like their debut album, was very pop punk, and then their second album was almost like a neo Motown album.
I can dig
Very
that.
different, but both are very good.
Okay.
Someone else.
So in ascending order, starting with number 5, we have Eminem.
Wow, Eminem was your number 5 artist?
Yeah, I have like the full.
Are you okay?
I have like the full Kamikaze album on my playlist.
Well, he
Why?
listened to Lose Yourself 12 times this year, so
Yeah.
It was only 8. I kept track of that one. Number 4 is Fun.
okay.
Do you have a very specific time that you listen to Lose Yourself?
I don't listen to Lose Yourself at all ever.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
This is incredible. Like, the yes-anding has reached a critical mass here, and then it just imploded upon itself.
number 3 is Bayside. That's recent. Number 2 is Cake. And number 1 is Lemon Demon.
Well, there you go.
I
Great.
love Cake.
By law of averages, I can tell you mine. The most on my playlist are Led Zeppelin for sure, Metallica after them, then I guess Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and I guess Alter Bridge, maybe? Law of averages says that's probably what my top 5 are.
Alright.
Real quick,
Well, guys,
real quick, before John goes, Scott, I have a question for you.
I'm
This
already-
this mega playlist that you have, do you play it on shuffle?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask, or do you just play it from the top every single time?
it's-
God, no. In
it's-
fact, I do. I'll explain that real quick before John goes.
I've already gone.
Whenever I add a new song, in fact, that's probably what my top 5 most played will be this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I add a new song, I start my playlist with that song until I feel like I'm never going to get sick of this song.
I see.
So every day I'll start the playlist with that song, and if there's a day where I'm like, I don't want to hear this, then I remove it from the playlist.
Well, how about that?
And I've probably added, over the course of the year, I've probably added like a dozen songs. So out of those dozen, 5 of them would be my most played for sure.
Well, I'd like to wrap up our podcast, gentlemen.
No, it's your turn.
I already did mine. I said mine
I want
earlier.
to hear it again.
You want to hear it again? All right, give me 1 second. Let me pull it back up.
So
Actually, and also before we end, I want to know, just in general, your guy, rather than the statistics, I want to hear your guys' personal, what
Well-
do you say your favorite song and artist is?
Well, see, man, wow, way to fucking steal my thunder.
Alright? I'm sorry.
God damn, Jesus, fucking, I'm done.
I'm
Alright.
sorry.
My top 5 artists for the second time was NF, Rage Against the Machine, Foo Fighters, Howard Shore, and Guns N' Roses.
John, you already told us this.
I don't think I did hear that.
Yeah, you did fucking hear it because we were started talking about the Lord of the Rings board game.
That's right, Howard
Howard
Shore.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you actually did ask a different question than I was going to ask. I was going to ask everybody what their Vecna song was.
Vecna song.
What, your what?
What your Vecna song is.
so remember you had to have a song to help bring you back out of Vecna's mind palace.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
What's
Stray
your
Oh,
What's your
Bullet.
running
gotcha.
up that hill?
I think I've told you guys this. It would probably be "Oo Song" by Pat Benatar
You have told us this.
off
I was
of
gonna say, I think-
her Tropico album, I believe.
Yeah, you, talked for, a real-life 10 minutes about how incredible it was that you could just make noise as a singer and somehow make it compelling.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the entire chorus of that song is just her vocalizing the word "oo,"
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm not going to say I disagree or anything. I really am glad that you do.
And to answer your question, Scott, what's my
What was-
favorite artist?
Oh,
I think the easy answer is Pat Benatar.
Right.
I genuinely think I know 2 songs by Pat Benatar.
Hit me with your best shot.
Yep.
Yep.
And Heartbreaker is the only other one that comes to mind.
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker isn't her.
Yeah, it is.
Is it not?
it?
Yeah, it is. It is off of her debut album.
Then what song am I thinking of that's like... Oh, wait, I'm thinking of a song by Heart. What's the song by Heart? Barracuda.
Magic Hands.
Barracuda.
No.
is by heart.
You probably know Love is a Battlefield.
Yep.
Heard of that one.
You probably know We Belong.
Yep.
I
That
don't
one's
think I
really
do.
We belong to the light, we belong together, we belong to the thunder.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That was one. Yeah. If you played it, you'd know it.
We
I-
belong
yeah.
to the words that we spoke to one another. It's fine.
Well, both fallen under, but it's a good guess.
Ah, fuck.
Somebody
fuck
else
me.
answer the question.
Yeah. So Cody has said
Chris,
his.
Vecna song,
Chris,
favorite
yeah,
artist.
Okay. Oh god, Vecna song would be currently, as of right now, is Hate Me by Blue October. My favorite song since I heard it in high school has been Vance Joy's Riptide.
Yeah.
And my favorite artist is Billy Joel.
Interesting.
You know what we should
I
do?
will
We
say-
should compile a Spotify playlist to put in the detail
Oh,
in the
man.
Yeah.
description.
Oh, okay.
We could, or we could start a Patreon and share that with our Patreon people.
Oh.
I'll let you go last, John. My Vecna song, as retarded of a way to put that is, we talked about this a long time ago when we watched Stranger Things 3, and I don't know if I don't know what to say.
That was
Like,
4.
It was 4.
oh, it was 4, wasn't it? They all suck.
Gotta disagree
The
with
one
you
that
there.
really, because in the show, it's like a song that makes you feel or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really have that with music. I guess I would just pick my favorite song, which is, oddly enough, not Led Zeppelin. It's a song called "Polygon of Eyes" by Scorpion Child.
Has your favorite song changed?
No, well, it did a couple of years ago to that.
What was
From?
it before?
Before, I'd say "When the Levee Breaks."
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good pick.
And I guess my favorite artist is... It's actually kind of close. My favorite artist is somewhere between Led Zeppelin and Wolfmother.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Wolfmother.
You were the one who introduced me to Wolfmother.
Yeah.
Didn't
Well, I
even
think
know
The
it
Hangover is the one who introduced you to Wolfmother.
existed. Did it?
Yeah, they played Joker and the Thief in the first one.
Oh, see that. I think that was around the time that I still was not paying attention to artists or anything.
Yeah, that checks.
In fact, there was a long time when watching movies, if they played music in it, I thought they made it.
It was made for the movie.
Yeah, 100%. I
Well, you
thought
wouldn't be
that.
wrong in a lot of cases.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn.
Close
now,
us
huh?
out, John.
Yeah. How are we saving you
So,
from Vecna?
well, I'll save my Vecna song for last.
Oh, okay.
But my favorite artist is hands down NF. He's just, I don't know. I just like resonate with his music. Although
He's a rapist.
he is a rapist. However, my favorite song would probably still be, Scott knows my favorite song jumps around a lot. And there's big gaps where I don't even know what my favorite song is. But my favorite song for the last like year roughly would probably be Kickstart My Heart.
That's interesting.
I have just I don't know, it just gets me amped up, dude. Every
I think
time
that's
I
what it's
hear
supposed to do.
it. Which for a while I joked that it was my Vecna song. I wouldn't survive getting out of the Vecna dream state because I would try to fight Vecna.
Yeah. No fight or flight response. I'll fight all the time.
Exactly.
No, it's like when it's like kickstart my heart. He's like ah.
Well, that's the problem. Is it's gonna pump you up too much. You're like, no, I can take him.
Well, it's just like I just imagine like when you hear the guitar riff right off the beginning, that's supposed to be like the engine revving up. I imagine Vecna just like has this confused look, and then I sock him in the jaw.
I just punched him.
Well,
in
no,
his
then he'd grab
fucking
you and twist your
face.
arms up, John.
But
He's got psychic powers, you don't.
well, I think if I disorient him at first, I know enough about concussions where that if I can't get him, if he can't reconnect, it's game over, man.
Hold on a second.
I got him
Are
on the
you
rope.
saying that if I subject myself to concussions, I'd learn more about them?
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
trial
think
by
that's how
error,
it
right?
works, John.
Oh,
What does not kill you
Well,
makes
That's incredible.
you more knowledgeable?
I think.
Hold on a second. If I beat myself to near death with a guitar, I'll be an expert at guitar.
Oh.
Oh, hold on.
That's how
Are you
Jimi
being
Hendrix did
sarcastic?
it.
I see, really.
Hmm.
Yes.
I think my real Vecna song would probably be "Jumper" by Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
Lovely.
And with that, let's end the podcast.
Well,
No,
yep.
no.
It's,
Let's end the podcast with asking the people.
yeah,
Colin
yeah, duh.
What's your favorite song?
Yeah, tell us what your Vecna song would be. Ugh.
We'll talk
Say
about it with you
it,
next week.
Say it quick, because this is one of the longest podcasts in recent memory, and it's also going to be one of
Yeah.
the most boring.
Yeah. I had fun.
All right. Be
And
seeing
that's
ya.
what matters.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
everybody.
Farewell.